congratulations. You have done an exceptional service to the company. You've hit your KPIs or exceeded performance.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to take your pay away from you
We're
now.
gonna take your fucking what? Ah, yes, Matt. That does make sense. Yeah.
Just it makes you wonder, man. It really does.
Welcome to Redundant Opinions, where the thing you need most on the internet is another two straight white guys thinking that they're right about the world. Welcome back. My name is Kochie. This is Cami, and today we're here to talk about Twitch CEO stepping down, and in doing so, also laying off 400 people. Because apparently one CEO isn't enough. We've got more people we have to lay off out of there. More deep dives into the Kick.com ownership and all the wonderful things related to that. And E3 has been cancelled. Wonderful. Just all positivity, I think, really.
Great. It's a positive podcast, I tell you what.
If you find yourself coming back here on the regular, consider subscribing to the channel. And we're also on Spotify, so check us out over there as well. Yeah. Cami, how you doing?
I'm good, mate. It's been a minute. We've been busy boys in multiple aspects of life. It's getting colder in Canberra. The supercars are racing. I've been busy with content, so you know what? I can't complain.
Not too bad at all.
I also got fucking older, so you know.
Happy birthday to the kamikaze. He did it. He's getting old. I mean, I say that I'm turning 30 this year, so really, it could be worse.
It could be worse. It could be worse. That said, though, I'm now officially closer to 30 than I was 20 as of a couple of days ago, and that was a shitty realization to make. It's like,
damn it.
Oh God, I'm now that guy.
Literally, yeah. Now you're on your. I guess you could still call it mid-20s, but yeah, you get close to the late 20s now.
Yeah, it's not a fun realization. But anyway, how about you, Kochie? How are you?
I am alive. I think it's my turn to be alive this time.
Good.
I'm in that creative slump at the moment, so trying to do stuff where I basically half do stuff. I write a script, or I get footage, or I do something, and then I just don't pursue it because I just couldn't be bothered.
Every creator goes through it, mate. Every creator goes through it from time to time.
Yeah, which is I need to look at doing some scheduling or doing stuff like that because it structures my time better. It's like work. I'm structured with work. I know when I'm working. I know what I'm doing for work. And then I come home and I'm like, awesome. Where's structure?
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's immediately up in the air. It's up to your own volition. Like you're not accountable to anyone except yourself.
Well, I think we forgot to mention at the start, we might also, if we get to it, we'll be talking about thumbnails and titles and all that stuff, and it is very important for your videos, especially if you're on a VOD platform like Twitch. I mean, that VOD, like YouTube, I looked at it and I saw Twitch CEO on my notes here. Twitch doesn't have thumbnails. Fuck you, Twitch.
Yeah, no.
On YouTube, because they're quite important. So we went through and I redesigned all of my review thumbnails with the help of Cami. I got some notes from that because, he does cool thumbnails. So we're having a talk about that at some point, I guess, as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, speaking of the slip up there, I guess Twitch, it was unintended segue, but
you said fuck Twitch, and I thought, well, okay, this is a good segue. We'll roll with that. Yeah.
Too busy. It's already fucking itself. Yeah.
Not in a pleasant way either. It's not great.
No. It was like a bad restaurant. Like the service was terrible. And like the waiter, they got the meal wrong twice. And then they still expected a tip at the end of it. That's the worst part.
it's like it's like you order a chicken parmigiana. The parmigiana comes out, but then the ham is like the afterthought. It's like sitting on the top, half cooked, like barely sticking to the cheese. Like
it's that packet ham, like from Coles. It's just
yeah. Oh God, yeah. Tossed like a salad onto it, essentially, and that was all. Yeah, so
frisbee from across the kitchen.
Like, I'm not going to go. That's a callback to an Australian thing. I'm not going to do for our audience that's outside of Australia here. But no, Twitch is making some moves.
You could call it that.
Week. Yeah. So, long-standing CEO Emmett Shear, who has been with Twitch for the longest time, has stepped down. Which I got to say, don't know if there was much in the lead up to this happening. Like, it sort of came out of nowhere.
I think there's the difference there between YouTube and Twitch there, where Twitch has kind of been like a little bit more silent. Like they do the slight releases, but there's never like that CEO post or whatever or monthly update or anything like that. I'm not really up with it. I guess they're kind of just doing their own thing.
Well, that's it. It's a and it's a 16,
especially at that level.
Yeah, exactly. And he's been there for 16 years, so stepping down now. Big step. I'm curious to know as to whether or not this is actually going to impact the culture of Twitch, especially noting the new guy.
The new CEO, Mr. Dan Clancy, who is famous for such posts as subscription revenue shares. And making sure that everyone gets 50-50 in terms of subscriptions. So none of that 70-30 thing after 100K, because apparently the platform isn't profitable, which we knew already, but it wasn't making enough money at all.
No.
And had a lot of random shit in there about how they pay Amazon customer rates for their own streaming service that they made.
Oh, God. Yeah, it's just
interesting.
It's a very... It makes you wonder. It sounds like a very vicious sort of cycle in the Twitch space, doesn't it, to run this site? But it boggles the mind, honestly. But yeah, old mate with his 50 split, sort of heel to the ground, sort of a thing. Yikes. Honestly, to know that is now the person that's heading the company, it really does sort of demonstrate that. Well, I mean, if past experience or if past behavior is an indicator of future behavior, we can pretty much confirm now that going forward, Twitch will be a 50-50 split platform, no matter who you are, what you do. And I imagine for some content creators, that's going to be a relatively scary sort of roadblock of progress, really, for that website. And
so it was like 50-50 after 100K in the year, wasn't it?
Yeah, I believe
in that original blog post, I think it was.
Yeah.
On the premium deals, we're adjusting the deals so they retain 70-30 of their revenue share split for the first 100K, and then revenue above 100K will be split by the standard 50-50 share split rate.
Yeah.
So, like, it's just so interesting that you can do that at that level. Like, I can't imagine any other industry doing that. It's not like you're working your IT job or whatever. So, okay, so after you do 100,000 tickets, you're actually getting docked pay.
Yeah, right.
Like 20%. And then we're taking that.
Congratulations. You have done an exceptional service to the company. You've hit your KPIs or exceeded performance. We're going to take your pay away from you now.
Take your pay. Yes. Maths, that does make sense. Yeah.
It makes you wonder, man. It really does. Because, like, to me, it just screams desperation from the Twitch platform in order to try and keep its head above water. We know that the whole streaming platform side of things is expensive to do and is impossible to do unless you are a major company with major backing. We know YouTube is probably running their streaming side of things at a loss and are making it up elsewhere, which is probably why we've seen less in the world of YouTube improving the live streaming space at the moment, because it's been so stagnant lately.
Fuck not?
Trust me, brother. I
saw your tweet the other day about it. It's like, there were so many people, like yourself included, that like moved to YouTube because it would like it upgraded it added the live service and everything.
The talk was there.
What have they done since?
The last thing to come out in the streaming space was gifting memberships, and they've just recently brought that huge functionality. I mean, it's changed the game for a lot of
made Cami a lot of money.
Yeah. I love you viewers, just so you know. Appreciate you guys. But then they I think the latest update has been like they brought gifting membership to Android and stuff like that. Like, it's now available on mobile devices. But as far as like major features, no UI overhaul for chat, no moderation tools that we were talking about years ago.
It's like there's one dude working on live or something.
Honestly, I feel like that might be the case, because it's very clear. Like, you see it in all of like the YouTube updates, and we've gone a bit on a tangent here, but all of the focus is now on short form content because I think they've realized just how much of a hemorrhage money wise, especially with the 70-30 split that YouTube does offer all of its creators, all of the fan funding. Um, how much of that is going to be, siphoning revenue out of YouTube? So clearly they're going to try and redistribute the resources, and to link that back to Twitch, when your entire money making is fan funded,
it's community driven. Yeah,
it's Twitch is the biggest ongoing Kickstarter I've ever seen in my life. I've realized it. Twitch is a GoFundMe.
Yeah, it's different pages of GoFundMe accounts, just
crap.
begging for money, and then they do whatever they need to do to get the money.
We just broke the matrix. We've just broken out. We've broken out of the loop.
Opened your brain.
Oh my god! Absolute giga brain realization.
We're purple pilling the masses. Yeah.
Purple pilling the masses.
And I'm just going to add that to my possible titles for the episode. Yeah.
Good man. Good man. Yeah. So to hear them hit the gun. I mean, from the outside, you sort of sit there going, "What the fuck?" But on the inside, you're like, "Well, it does make you think what's going on over there." And yeah,
and that's the thing. It's like, so back on the revenue split, so that person that was responsible for that post is now the new CEO, Dan Clancy, who has been touted multiple times from people who have talked to them, that he just already, as a vice president of Twitch, when he was the Twitch president, he was at TwitchCon talking with Jake and Bake, I think it was.
Yeah.
And he was just like, I was talking with him, and I was like, this guy doesn't know what's going on. Like, he's completely out of touch with the community, doesn't know what Twitch wants as a website. Like, from the business sense, I'm 100% sure that he knows what he's doing. He's going to try and make the company as much money as possible and drive things from there. But it, just to quote the video, this is from like 2022. So this was TwitchCon last year. He just walked away feeling depressed because I don't feel confident as a streamer on the platform with someone who is that out of touch. And now that person is the CEO of Twitch.
Is running the company. And from a business perspective, I'm sure he's going to try and close that gap as best he can, try and make the site as much money as possible. But based on that, Twitch is still the market leader of streaming platforms as far as viewership is concerned. Well, I guess relative to YouTube, it's a different story, but you get the idea. For dedicated streaming, it's probably one of the biggest companies in the space. If they're not making money and they're on a 50-50 split with the majority of their creators, that's a huge amount of expenditure that's coming out of there. So it's very clear that old mate here he seems to be very, very vested on making sure like the stockholders are happy and Amazon are happy to not lose Amazon, because also Amazon could just decide one day to sell the IP or sell the code or whatever the case may be. They may just decide not viable for us to keep it going anymore.
Yeah, I mean, they've probably got some type of contract deal. Like they bought them, I guess. So I think they're their own resource, but I guess they could sell the resource off to somebody else if somebody wants it. Yeah, but it'll be interesting to see how that does develop. Again, with these changes and stuff, it's like nothing really happens immediately. Some stuff happens like months from now, and then we go, it all starts coming back. You start relating to it, and it's like,
correct.
No, you can only do so much.
Right now, it's all very speculative. We're just looking at it from the perspective of what the mentality at the Twitch office might be after this change.
Yeah,
because it is from the top, right? So normally the decisions that come from the top take a long time to implement down below. So especially when you lay off 400 of your staff.
So that was, I don't know, but that was after the new implementation, right? So
correct.
That's great.
Yeah, so for those who have missed this piece of news so far,
basically a week after Emmett Shear left.
Yep. So
yeah,
Twitch is laying off approximately 400 people. That's according to current estimates of 2,500 staff accounted for in Q1 2022. That's approximately 15% of the Twitch workforce, which is a significant layoff.
Yep.
I don't think we have any idea of where these staff, like what section they come from or anything like that. We just know that 400 people were laid off.
Yep. Yeah, so that was based off Commander Root's data as well, and also some stuff into like inside the company from sources. So I think originally the news that I got was from Zach Busey.
Yes.
Which so he put that out at one point. But yeah, a week after the CEO goes, 400 staff, which I mean, that's going to be on the books of like, we saved many money, you know, it just makes it a little bit more difficult to see a platform like Twitch being like, okay, what are you doing? Like, what do those 400 people do? Like, I don't know what they did.
And we never will know. We never will know.
I guess,
that's the part. Like, you know, we'll sit here wondering exactly, you know, what these people did, what they were bringing to the company, and the flow-on effects of this may be noticed a week from now, a month from now, a year from now. We don't know. But yeah, it doesn't paint a good picture right now, position wise out there. It does suggest that there is a certain degree of lacking, I would say, confidence in the company and in the platform overall. And I think throughout the streaming world, we're sort of seeing that lack of confidence expressed a little bit more clearly. I mean, I've seen tweets going off, and like I think I watched a video from Harris Heller this week, where he talked about all the other streaming platforms that are out there right now and what they're all doing.
Yep.
And he talked to, you know, Twitch's new CEO. He talked to the layoffs. And in defense, actually, there's very few tech companies that are not laying off people right now. That, like Google.
Yes.
Yeah. Google's recently laid off some folk.
It's a trend in the American tech scene of everyone doing that. And there was a lot of speculation, or there was some anecdotal reports there about people literally hired by some of those companies to do nothing for the specific reason so that they don't work for another company.
Wow. Is that a thing? Oh my god.
Anecdotal evidence, I'll have to go and find the thing or whatever it was, but wow. Like they were hired and picked up. They were, you know, on that hiring surge when they were hiring, all these new jobs started popping up and they started hiring all these people. They were just hiring these people and they would come in and they would do, it was like, what do I do? And it's like, figure it out. And then later on when they did like performance reviews and stuff, it's like, well, we don't really have any performance indicators for you. We just wanted you as a number so that we got more people in than, you know, the mobs across the street where you can't work for them.
Yeah, that's crazy. So like you just have people like sitting on the books just so they can't be employed by a competitor and therefore have their talents exploited again. Wow, that's I'd never heard of that before now. So that's,
I want to try and find it, but
anecdotal, yeah.
It was hired to do nothing. I was going to try and Google it.
While you're Googling that,
that was at Meta. There we go. Yeah.
Meta. There you go.
So
crazy.
Billionaire tech CEO says Meta and Google overhired so much they didn't have enough work to employees. They were really doing nothing. Yeah.
I mean, hey, you get paid that kind of money to work and not do work. Hang on now.
Yeah. I mean,
wait, how do I get a job? I can do that job.
It's short lived. It's short lived. Yeah, I could have been streaming that whole time. You know, sit at home earner and however much per year and do the streaming thing.
Yeah,
but they overhired essentially, because they didn't have work for them to do at that time. It's just they overhired so that they could fill the books and do all that fun stuff. But yeah, it was a short-lived thing, I guess. Yeah,
and I mean, well, you and I talked about this in a previous pod as well about how, like, you know, you'll have some roles that sit very dormant until the crisis button is hit. I think we talked about when Elongator Muskrat took over Twitter and he offloaded a lot of the tech team, and then things started breaking and they had no one there to fix them. You had a very passionate rant, if memory serves me correctly, about that one.
Yes.
So it's I think it's very similar to this. Like, you'll have a lot of people on the books that are either doing nothing or are in a very dormant state, and sometimes that may be worth a bit of a layoff there. So the news doesn't surprise me, especially given that we'd seen a lot of them come previously, but it also doesn't paint the best picture of Twitch in the grand scheme of things. It's a company.
Yeah. And when they're working on this active platform, and then we're calling out, there's people calling out for features left, right, and center, and to be worked on things, and we're not getting those updates. It's like, well, what are these people doing? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe they were doing nothing. I'm not saying they are. I'm just saying that to lay off 20% of your workforce across the board, and then what else are you going to do with that? With the rest of the people? Like, again, we won't see effects of this until 6 months down the line, or maybe they go out and hire someone else, or they hire a different company worth of staff, like a subsidiary or something like that.
Yeah. Do an acquisition. Yep. It's
not sure.
Yeah, it's interesting to see. And with how competitive the streaming space is at the moment, despite how sort of stale it's become at the same time in a sick and twisted way. Like you've got Facebook. Facebook just closed its partnership program. So
oh, did it?
Yes.
That's news.
Yeah, that's news. Sorry, I should have brought that up sooner. Facebook has officially canned its partnership program on its streaming site. Like you can no longer become a partner on Facebook. I think they're actually in the process of closing that down. So
interesting.
That's one competitor out. You've got YouTube, who's just off in the fields doing its thing, not really actioning a lot at the moment. You've got Twitch, which is just being Twitch, and then you've got Green Twitch, aka Kick, coming in.
Trovo.
Trovo, yeah, true. Well, that's actually kind of Green Twitch now means two things. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, because Trovo is Green Twitch, and it's still there. Trovo.live, and then I'm going to mute this, make sure it doesn't come up in the. Yep, cool. And then Kick as well. Mute that one as well.
But you've got Trovo, you got Kick, you got all these different platforms. Like Kick come out obviously with its 95/5 split, so there's some competition there now. That and you see it, like streamers are noticing, and there's a lot of streamers switching between platforms right now. There's a lot of turbulence in the streamer market, so I can imagine there's some people looking at the vulnerability that Twitch is kind of showing right now with these layoffs and going, I'm gonna jump ship now.
I just think though that if they're going to jump to another place, it should be YouTube.
Look, I still agree with that too. And when we get into our Kick segment here shortly,
well, actually, no, I take that back. It's mostly because those people who are making the Twitch level of not all of them, of course, but a lot of people just want to be streamers. Like,
yeah, true.
They just want to be streamers. They don't want to make content. They don't want to make videos. They don't want to, do any of that. They just want to stream. So when I think about it, it's like, well, Twitch is just, it's not going to die. Twitch is, I think at this point, it is too big to die. But
unless it's closed from the top down. Unless
it's like literally, it's sold.
Yep.
Yeah, like it's gone and they're making Twitch redundant, which I don't see happening from my limited knowledge. But it will get more niche, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
I think there's like YouTube has the algorithm, it has, you can make any sort of content on there. There's some kind of community there for it. There's visuals, and then you make a new account and you can train it to watch cooking videos, and it will send you cooking videos on cooking videos on cooking videos. There's always something. Warhammer and there's all these little ecosystems that are in there, and Twitch doesn't really have that. Twitch has streamers, and you stream various games, and that's kind of it. And the problem we have there is that there's such a high barrier to entry, because you have to go looking, where YouTube, once you've watched a few things, eventually you'll keep finding, I can find new creators on YouTube a lot of the time, recommended videos. I go to my home section, there's these new people and they've got like 12 views, and I'm like, sure, what's this guy's video? And then I watch 30 seconds and realize it's shit. But it's recommending me new content that I'm actually enjoying. But like Twitch's barrier to entry is so high because you have to understand how to Twitch. like
Mm.
things like BTTV and 7Z and like the way that you access someone's access, like their content. Like you open someone's channel and then you have to click on their name or their profile picture to access like the information about them and their previous VODs and like and things like that. Like it's just not customer client centric.
It requires a very requires a PhD in website navigation, quite frankly.
Yeah,
At
almost,
times.
which not everyone's going to use, and they don't know what Twitch is.
No.
And they'll go on, look at the highest stream, it'll be XQC or something, spamming and being, you know, freaking the fuck out and
doing his thing. Yeah, exactly.
Being a gremlin. And then in chat, you'll just see a bunch of text. Like,
yeah.
If you go to Twitch,
nothing cohesive. Yeah.
Nothing cohesive. It'll be lol w XQC, you know, you're just like, what is going on?
What is this ADHD riddled chat room that's going on right now? No one has a goddamn clue. It's just a wall of text moving at the speed of fucking light.
It's just everywhere. It's all over the place. Just
So yeah, you're right. Like from a viewer experience, if you're not in that subset of culture, then it's going to be a very, very alien one too. And I think that's why Twitch does maintain a strong position. Yes, it's showing weakness in these layoffs and stuff like that, and there's question marks around the CEO. But from a community standpoint, if you're like, obviously you're there for your streamers and you're there to support the people that you enjoy watching, but it's that community interaction that very much makes Twitch what it is. And it's something that YouTube hasn't quite captured yet. And I don't know if it ever will, which at times has gotten me questioning my decision to move to YouTube too for streaming. Like part of me has I've legit caught myself thinking lately, do I give Twitch another go? Do I put the streaming side back in a dedicated platform and use that as a means to diversify content a little bit? But then I think about the revenue split and I go, well, fuck, that sucks. But you know, it's
also splitting up your content as well, you know, and you've already done it once, and then your numbers, like the difference is as well, I think for Twitch as well, like with your content specifically, is that like I remember you didn't really have the numbers there, even especially when you weren't streaming planet side. And like you have more viewers, I think, now on your other games than you had on Twitch streaming your main game back then. Like you were still averaging like 20-30 viewers on your even just your random streams like BattleBit and stuff like that as well. Like obviously some are definitely lower than that, but it's definitely the numbers are better, and because you've got that audience of someone, any of your however many you're on, 37,000 or something.
Number shambles.
Any one of those people can go to the subscription page right now, or when you're live, and see your live, and it's like right there. And
it's definitely a good thing, and it's very much. I've sort of reflected on that internal dialogue with myself, especially in this streaming market, and it's sort of, you know, it's got me going, well, no, you can't fall into this what's the word I'm looking for, into this constant battle with yourself of thinking the grass is greener elsewhere. Because if you do that and you keep jumping between all the platforms, as much as again I've genuinely been considering it again, but like no. If you do keep jumping between these loopholes and jumping between these, like, you know, this internal dialogue of the grass may be greener, the grass may be greener, you're just never going to grow on a platform. You're never going to get that momentum you need to get anywhere solid.
That's the thing. It's about that dedication.
Exactly, and I'm the first to admit that, you know, if you're doing something wrong, then you need to address it. But sometimes it takes you a little bit of time to work that out, and making snap decisions back and forth all the time, you know, might not always be the most sustainable option for you as a creator going forward.
No, especially when you're small.
100%.
Even at your level, like making those decisions, it just fragments your own community.
Yeah, and it's not a decision that should be made lightly. It never is. Like, anytime you think, and it's why I see all these streamers who are, especially the ones that are moving to Kick in particular, and this may segue us nicely to the Kick conversation we're about to have here, but I see a lot of people making that snap decision to Kick. They're like, oh, new platform, it's going to be where the viewers are going eventually. There's going to be big streamers signing up there in theory, and there's been some, you know, actually, it is April Fool's weekend still. I'm going to take everything I see with a grain of salt. But there's talks of, you know, big names being signed on. So that's showing some degree of prominence from
big
names,
itself. Yes. Good names, no.
Exactly. But yeah, I see all these people, like, they're chasing the revenue split. They're chasing all that. And it's like, it's still a very, very basic platform. comparatively speaking. It
Yeah.
really is a copy paste Twitch. I mean, you look at it side by. I've got them both up side by side right now.
Yeah, it's green Twitch.
It's the exact same website. Like literally, format for format is the exact same website. So again, as we've said before, in order to make that cultural shift, that shift of getting people from Twitch to Kick, from a community perspective, you need to change that culture. You need to, instead of people typing in twitch.tv,
Yeah.
they need to type in kick.com.
Yeah.
You're not going to do that by replicating what Twitch is already doing very well from a viewer perspective. Twitch is already giving the viewers everything they want. You're not going to be able to paint it green and go, but look,
you made this, we made this. Yeah.
We made this. That's not how it works.
My grabbing of the nose and utter pain before was just one of the top channels. The 7th top channel is topless at 50 subs.
Jesus Christ. And we have to remember too with Kick, what's Kick's number one selling point right now?
Oh, gambling.
Okay. All right. Sorry. Yep, fair call.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's the 95-5 split, right?
Well, yes. So
okay,
yes, in terms of for streamers, yes, this is the sub revenue.
It's the biggest selling point. But you just highlighted my point there exactly. It's for the streamers.
Yeah.
It's not for the viewers. So yes, there are people seeing success on Kick at the moment in those small subset communities. But just to, paint a bit of a comparison here, on Twitch right now, there are, at the time of us recording this potty, there are 1,400 viewers in the Valorant category on Kick. How many do you think there are in the Twitch category?
I'd say, at least 4. Yeah.
4, yeah. 84,000.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's, and I get it's a new platform, but Jesus, there's a lot of, I think, hopium being puffed at the next level for the gaming streamers that are going across thinking that it's going to change their lives.
Yeah. It'll be the thing that they'll do it where they'll go over for a little bit, see growth maybe, but they're fragmenting the audience. And unless you're already too big to fail, or at least fail at like half decently, or you're getting paid to move over there, then there's no real point, I don't think. Like anyone who's expecting people to leave Twitch and go in droves over to those other platforms is kidding themselves, unless they're already got like an Aiden Ross or a Train Rex or someone who's already massive. Yeah,
exactly.
Which they would have experienced numbers drops as well.
Correct. And I think the people that are making that shift, like the big streamers, like as you said, the Aiden Rosses, the Train Rex, those guys that are sort of moving their way slowly into household names, I guess you could call them. Like the viewers that are now on Kick are probably there because of those initial moves. So you've got that sort of, the rest of the audience or the rest of the streamers are picking up from that residual carryover of community from there, because otherwise it's just the
problem is the platform is like defined by those people. Like Mixer, for example, to use it as an example, you brought over Shroud and you brought over Ninja, and then all these people went, and then they went over there. The platform was still defined by those two people. There was no one, I don't think, that was ever bigger by them, and they thought that if they could bring enough names over, that would bring normal viewers over. And that just doesn't happen. It's just people know what they want. And
exactly,
even with Twitch as bad as it is, it's still the premier platform for streaming. If you're just streaming and you want to watch streams, regardless of the ads and the pre-rolls and the everything else, the high barrier to entry, it's still the premier place to be. And I think it probably will be for a little while.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I'm just looking at I've just been looking at Kick and Twitch side by side right now.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it goes as far as to Kick and Twitch using the exact same font. Like I'm talking like for like font.
Oh yeah.
So it just goes like, it just, unfortunately it tells me that yes, obviously stake are into this, they want to get into the streaming platform, they want to cash in on this, and they want to use their gambling money to offer creators the strongest revenue split that we've seen, which is good. It's good that is being offered to creators, but it does make me question how invested Stake or whatever this company is in the platform from a long-term perspective. Like, are they interested in adding those community features? Are they interested in adding the quality of life stuff? Are they interested in improving their TOS?
Yep.
Probably not, because they don't need to. They've just taken what Twitch has done, made it green, and they're not as invested. I would. Well, again, this is just speculation.
But they've got an iOS app now.
And an Android app too. Yes.
Well, there you go.
Legit.
Woohoo. Google Play's been submitted. We're all got everything all sorted. But it was interesting to see that come out. So they've got their own apps, which I haven't used, obviously, because I wouldn't have it installed on the phone. But what did come up from that is people like to do their deep diving and their digging from time to time. Which kind of was able, because they published it on the App Store, they could actually register it under a company, and then you could find out what company owns that, and then who owns that company, and then you start doing the leapfrogs from there.
Ownership,
and it turns out it's an Australian-owned company, which is kind of odd. So this is owned obviously by Kick Streaming, Pty Ltd. There's a really good thread by Aussie Rob's TTV on I'll put the link in the doobly-doo. They went on their one of the deep dives into the internet, and so the only shareholder at the moment is EasyGo Entertainment, and its director is CSO of EasyGo. So it looks like they've just made a bunch of new companies and then added this onto it, basically.
Yep.
It's. Hang on, I'm trying to scroll through it when it wants to load. Thanks.
Thanks, Twitter.
Thanks, Twitter. Yeah, you're getting worse as well, by the way, Twitter. Thanks.
Yeah, you're not free from Slack, asshole.
So yeah, there's a guy called Ed Craven who owns Ashwood Holdings, which is registered in 2021, then has partnered up with this other person, Bijan Tarani, who they've formed EasyGo Entertainment, who then has made Kick. So yeah, it's basically levels on levels of companies that probably most people don't really know. And it was owned by the founders of Stake, which is the gambling platform, but not entirely. It's owned by the founders of Stake, but not by Stake.
Yeah, it's
if that
a
makes
sister
sense.
company. It's a sister company.
Yeah.
Which
everyone said it was owned by Stake, which means it's like, Amazon's streaming service is Twitch, right?
Correct.
Like Stake's streaming service is Kick. It's like, no, it's owned by the owners or the founders of Stake.
Yeah, exactly. But and like, it's very much, while yes, it's not directly owned by, it's technically going to be Stake's money funding the streaming side of things. It's all under the same umbrella of ultimate ownership. So yeah, there's still a blurred line there to be drawn. It was interesting to see exactly how this all lines up, and it does show that a lot of these companies are relatively new, brand spanking new things. So yeah, even it looks like, hang on, I'm just having a look. Even the Ashwood Holdings is a Pty Ltd, which would put it in Australia too, I believe.
If it's been registered in that area, potentially.
ACN number, yep.
Yeah, through ASIC. So yeah, there you go. Aussies are doing something. We apparently own Kick. Time to go over there.
Trust the Australians to use gambling money to fund a streaming platform, for fuck's sake.
Hashtag not sponsored by TAB Sportsbet. God fucking damn it, I hate those ads.
Oh lordy. All right then. Well, yeah, it's interesting to read up on.
Yeah, definitely. And it does, that thread kind of opens up because it got retweeted by people and got some eyes on it, so other people found other things as well. There's quite a few whales in there as well already, like gifting a bunch of subs to the channels, like 400 subs, 500 subs, even to just random channels that they haven't been on before, and things like that. And Trainwrecks looks like they're giving out, like, just staff giving out subs.
Yeah, I saw that too, and it really. So we're seeing obviously a lot of this, look how much money I'm making on Kick. Like, Kick is changing my life, which, congratulations to those streamers. Glad to see them succeeding. That's awesome. I know a lot of people are using this as an opportunity to sort of break out in a way.
Yeah.
But it does, kind of like gambling, create this false sense of security that this is what it will be in the long run. Again, this Kick is a brand new website.
Mm-hmm.
It's very similar to
It's in
Mixer in the
beta,
sense that
guys. It's a beta
the
website.
beta website. Get fucked.
Yeah.
But like it's very similar to that whole situation of, Mixer was brand new. It had a bit of hype when it first came out, but then, the dust settled and, we started to get back into a sense of normality. So I'm sure we'll see that sort of occur on the Kick side of things too, as we stop seeing these huge gift bombs from, I assume, gifted sub bombs from, the Kick staff. I'm sure that can't be, plausible to keep going, especially now that we know.
Giving money out of I guess they go, well, that's a tax deduction, which then pull it back into the company. Right. It's like how people on their own channels gift out a bunch of different subs to their own channel, and then they claim it on tax because that's technically a purchase for their business.
Yeah, exactly right.
It did link into another article though, on that thread. It's which is very, very clickbaity title, but it just says "Sex, Hate, and Train Wrecks: The Aussie Gambling Billionaires Links to Twitch's Controversial Competitor." That's
oh my God.
Yeah. The Kick offers us offers to treat its users better than Twitch. It's speculated that Australia's crypto gambling billionaire Ed Craven is behind the venture. So there you go. That's maybe how they got a bunch of money from it.
Yeah, probably.
Hidden links to the world's biggest cryptocurrency casino, which is Stake, and its Australian billionaire founder. Apparently, though, they're saying that over 1 million users have joined in just over 3 months.
Doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me. I knew that there would be. I knew that there would be a serious amount of take up of this when we started seeing all these streams start to go again. Aiden Ross has made a big deal over it. Our friend Trainwrecks as well has been hard at work pushing this out. Our friend, yeah.
Good old Trainwrecksy.
Good old Trainwrecks.
Like an idiot.
No, they've been pushing that out big time. It does show that I think as I said, there's some interest in here, but mainly I think it's just a brand new thing, right?
Oh yeah, it's a new flavor of the month. It's people jumped over to Mixer, did the same thing, following the footsteps. It's the new platform. It's the new thing. This is the early adopters. It's just whether or not there's like in terms of businesses and new tech and stuff. There's like adoption curves. It's like your early adopters, your people that jump up, and then there's the laggards behind it as it goes through. But whether or not it gets past that early adopters stage, or if it just again fragments the streaming community and hurts the small streamers thinking they're going to be done at getting all this rewards, and instead killing their own brand in the process.
I mean, I'm looking at this right now. Like I'm looking at Kick at the moment, and it falls into very much the same plot holes as Twitch does, in the sense that in the categories, the sort by function is automatically high to low. So as more people join the platform, trying to, again, jump on that 95-5 split and get the paycheck and the growth they've been wanting, they're actually just fueling more traffic to the higher streamers because they're being placed higher on the platform, making Kick more money. Well, making Kick more money thanks to its split.
Recommended channels are all the highest viewed ones as well. So it's like, well, what's the point?
It loops back to my point earlier as well about how this doesn't have the cultural impact to change the day-to-day Joe Schmo Twitch viewer to come to Kick. It's just green Twitch. It is just as I said, it's just green Twitch, and there's not
with
enough
the same discoverability issues. With the same issues for small creators, with the same issues of like no tagging, no sense of community, no nothing. It's just worse Twitch.
And that's all just for the streaming side of things too. Like from the viewer side of things, there's nothing here to sell you to say that you should care about this website.
No.
Right? You've like the reason people are switching now is because it's either vetted interest in the creators that they follow that are moving across, or it's the big deals that are taking place, and as you said, the early adopters that are keen on checking out the brand new thing and having a look at it. And seeing how it runs.
I would love to be able to have time to do a deep dive, because there's the other thing too that I think we may have mentioned to you. I don't know if don't think we mentioned on the podcast about inflated viewer numbers as well.
Yes, that has been a thing as well.
Because
Yeah, I've heard
again,
about that.
I'm watching, like right now, I'm watching a 2,700 viewer streamer play League of Legends, right?
Uh-huh.
There is one chat every 3 to 4 to 5 seconds.
Yeah, hang on.
Like again, I'm watching it.
How many viewers?
Another chat, 2,700.
All right,
Let's find an equal person.
I'm looking now.
They're playing League, so they're obviously doing something. You know, it's not like it's a music channel. Like I know there's music channels on Twitch that there's not much chatting because everyone just kind of uses like a radio station.
Yep.
But I'm just using again anecdotal evidence here. But I'm just looking at it, going like, you got 2,700 people.
I'm just watching now. 27. Oh, 20. Oh, this is an ad. God damn it! Hang on.
Yeah, that is one thing. I didn't have an ad when I clicked on this person's channel, so
yeah. I'm just looking now. Hang on. This is this is a competitive league. Hang on, that's not going to give the same amount. Let's try this one.
Apples to apples comparison.
Oh, this is a watch party. Here we go. Oh god, yeah, this chat's flying.
Yeah,
like no shot. This is okay. Yeah, I mean, we have heard some. To look back, have heard about botting and viewer inflation on Kick to make it seem like a more busier website, to make it look like there's a lot going on. And as we talked about earlier, there are whales present on the site as well that are funding these streamers to make it look like that the viewer counts are coming organic, like the view counts are transitioning to revenue earned organically as well. So, there's a lot of little stones that when you unturn with this website, you find another one to turn over, and another one, and another one, and another one, and it just seems to be a never-ending hole that we dig into with Kick. And again, I still have concerns that there's just not enough on offer from the viewer experience to make the cultural impact that requires someone to stop typing twitch.tv into their web browser and instead put kick.com.
Yeah, exactly. I guess it would be that thing where they'd be going from Kick, and then or going from Stake or something, and then maybe going into watching streamers play gambling. Like maybe their ingest point there would be like, okay, you can gamble, or you can watch other people gamble.
Yeah,
and that's what we're pushing.
Yeah,
and then maybe you want to watch video games as well. Like the gambling, I don't know. Maybe the slots and gambling don't. I don't know what the crossover is between, those people who have the same interests of slots and poker and blackjack, and then also plays a lot of video games or watches people in pools. I don't know what they are.
yeah.
Maybe there is a good Venn diagram there. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe it might be there. I'm also just looking at there's a particular category here on Kick called Other Watch Party. They have a watch party category. I sense DMCA all throughout this category. I'm seeing, hang on, I can see a Edge of Tomorrow watch party, the whole movie. There's not even a stream. Oh, there's a streamer camera here, but it's literally using the cinema bars at the top and the bottom of the screen and just filtering right in the very corner. So there's actually, like, the whole movie can be seen.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
There's a South Park watch party here with a green screen over the top of it. Someone seems to be watching, looks like Resident Evil. Someone's doing a Nicolas Cage marathon.
Of course. They own the rights to that, right? Yeah.
Sorry?
They own the rights to that, right? Yeah.
Sure. This is just half of these people have got like a WrestleMania marathon. Oh, sweet Jesus.
Yeah.
This is DMCA Central. As soon as any like big time, company gets wind of this, if they haven't already, this website is going to be slammed. And again, I don't know how this possibly falls into that whole, safe harbor verification that content platforms need to have in the US.
Well, that's actually an interesting point, though, is because the interesting point there is the ownership of that company is owned by that Kick Streaming Pty Ltd that's on the ASIC thing. If it's based in Australia, then they would have to then comply with like Australia's Online Safety Act.
Yep. No, good
which
point.
is to take reasonable steps to prevent children from accessing Class 2 material, which is R18 or X18 plus, such as non-violent sexual material as well. That was just the tweet that I just read from somebody.
Interesting.
Like, yeah.
I mean, you'd have to do that regardless, though. Like every platform that you operate in,
But is it American or is it Australian rules? Is it like, well, Kick is owned by, what rules does it have to follow?
Well, I think everybody has their own, like, so yeah, where you're incorporated definitely has an impact. But I think wherever you distribute content to, you need to follow that country's laws.
I mean, Twitch doesn't have to follow like German's laws or, something like that, though, does it?
Well, I mean, I know in Germany on YouTube in particular, DMCA and like music blocking is a lot more strict. I've done video montage in the past using copyrighted music, and I'll have German viewers say like, and normally in other countries it's like, yeah, you can watch this. In Germany, I'll have German viewers say this video is blocked for me, I can't watch it.
Yeah.
So
well, there you go. Today I learned.
Yeah, you do see some geographical differences in the experience there.
But I guess Twitch isn't, that'd be for VOD content because YouTube does have that in place, where Twitch doesn't, correct. As an example, Twitch doesn't really have that, does it?
No, it would be very, very different for a live platform, you're right, because it's harder to police because it's happening then and there, unless you've got someone sitting there actively hitting the bloody button right then and there.
Sorry, this streamer is not available in your region.
VPNing for streamers, could you imagine?
Yeah, just so I could watch some Twitch, yeah.
Some boober streamer reacting to a movie. Let's go.
Yep.
Anyway,
we're talking about Kick until the cows come home, and it is one of those things we kind of want to dive into a little bit more, but it's going to just create that niche there where it's just another niche for another streaming content service that is probably going to just sit there and do its own little thing away from everybody else.
I can't wait for all the Kick hopefuls to jump into the comments and start yelling at us and telling us how we're wrong. And, looking forward to that. Bring it on, guys.
That'll be great. Then once happens, they'll get people in there. They'll get, and that's the thing. It's like, will there be brands in there? Is it just the people, or is it companies going to go in there? We're going to host tournaments in there, or are they just going to stick with Twitch? Do we know?
I can't see a single brand outside of sports and gambling wanting to back this website.
I guess that is an option, right? Like it could go for the NFL, the cricket, or whatever, the V8 supercars,
Remember, F1, the Alfa Romeo team are already a sponsor to Kick. I was watching the F1, like the practice rounds this weekend in Melbourne, and they jumped to a cockpit view of the Alfa Romeo car, and there was a fucking Kick logo on the halo.
There you go. So it's maybe it's attacking more of that, that normie brand, I guess, is the muggle brand there of people who
the gamblers,
the gamblers and people who just want to watch sports and gambling and they don't care about anything else. They watch the WhatsApp or something all the time and they just want a place to watch it. Who knows?
Exactly.
The reason I bring up brands though and stuff is that it looks like a lot of brands have actually pulled out of E3, which is the Electronic Entertainment Expo. So much so that it's been cancelled. Both the digital and the physical, which is sad.
It's really sad actually.
It is the big kind of vendor related expo, as you could say. And there was a big hubbub about it last year about it coming back and making its return after COVID and everything like that. Reed Pop was working on it as well, so they're also the team that does PAX. Pretty sure. I remember correctly.
I think you're right.
Yeah. So that's their big event, and they were really hyped for it as well. And we just saw Xbox and PlayStation, Nintendo doing their own thing. Ubisoft recently pulled out as well. Kind of left us questioning who's going to be there, and it turns out nobody, because it's cancelled.
You need to have an E3 for people to show up to in order to do it.
Yeah.
Which that I must be real. That was kind of sad because especially I forget his name. It was Guy Blomberg.
Or Yug.
Yug. He was clearly quite upset about the news. And I don't blame him because E3. Like I remember once upon a time we were called, like me and my mates, we call it Christmas for gamers, right? all the new
Yeah.
games were getting announced. We were getting release dates. It's like, oh boy, and
We have
everybody's in-
shitty watch times, but we could have watch parties at 2 a.m. or something like that
Fuck
and
yes.
watch the latest Xbox thing. I remember when I did coverage of it as well, it would be like,
Yep.
awesome, I take that week off. Why? Because I'm going to sit at my computer and watch a Nintendo thing at 3 a.m. and I'm going to be super hyped. Or I remember Monster Hunter World coming to PC. Or Monster Hunter World being announced for PlayStation. And I was like jumping up and down and being all crazy about it at 3 a.m. So, which got yells from my partner at the time. But it was that excitement, and I don't know if they really have that magic anymore, which is, I don't know, I guess a possible reason why it's no longer a thing.
No, I mean the world has been so digitized lately, and it's clear that all these companies are very interested in sort of doing things on their time as opposed to the E3 time. Like, yeah, I remember when E3 was massive, YouTube wasn't as big, streaming wasn't as big.
Yeah.
So it was just a matter of, well, we'll do the show, and because you guys haven't got established brands in those spaces, you can just sort of use us as your launch pad.
Yep.
And everyone can go to this. But now, like, you know, all of all the brand, you know, all the brands have got multi-million follower accounts on TikTok, you know, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, everywhere.
Yep.
So
they can restream to all the different platforms, and it doesn't matter anymore. You know, they've got production teams.
They'll get the same, if not more, visibility from doing it themselves without E3 as the middleman. So it does suck that that's what happens now. Because like, you know, E3 was a great time for game companies and gamers to get together and get hype. I mean, as you said, like when E3 was big, I was still in school, and you know, me and my mates, like I remember specifically there was the Bethesda show when Fallout 4 was getting more details, and me and my mates were in class watching the fucking, you know, Bethesda show from our classrooms because we somehow had access.
Yeah.
And the teacher was like, "You need to do some work." I'm like, "You need to fuck off."
Yeah, you need to get lost, miss. You get lost. It's Fallout time.
Yeah.
Was that the when they announced Fallout, and then it was basically going to be available like that year?
Yeah.
Was that 2015? Because I was at that press conference.
I believe so. Yeah.
I was the only E3 I attended. And I got to have that. I got I have to find it, but I had got one of the figurines or something. Still got it in the box as well from it. But yeah, I remember that amazing one. It was nuts.
I wish
people freaking out about stuff.
I wish I was able to attend. Like, I never got to attend an E3. I was before my time. Which and seeing this now, it does make me a little sad. Like, oh, I'll never get to attend an E3. Rip.
Yeah.
But at the same, it's a bit of a sad thing to see go. But it's similar. Like, you know, it's like your favorite game getting sunsetted finally, right? Like, you know, there's these just end of an era.
Yeah, exactly. And it's one of those things that we kind of like have those fond memories of. But it has changed so much. Like the space has changed so much, and it is in that digital age where people can just have, well, there's less prone to things like leaks. And, you know, if Xbox and PlayStation and all that are at the show, there's more chances for some E3 employee or some person who's been hired for the weekend to just go, oh, I'm just going to leak that video out on some live leak page and do that kind of thing.
Exactly. I mean, the leaks happen regardless nowadays anyway, too, don't they?
They do. No, you're right. They do. But I think being able to control it, their own sensitive information and like do their own presentation, and then it's probably cheaper as well because they don't have to pay the booths and things like that. I think our main concern are a little bit selfish as well as things like PAX.
I know where you're going. Yeah, I know exactly. I was going to bring this up too. Yep.
Because I guess PAX does have that community level. Like we have the community, and you don't. While there is this massive hole of a AAA, is what we talked about in our various PAX videos. Like there was that AAA hole, but there was still so much to do.
Yes.
Like it has the communities, the board games, the panels, the indies, you know, do they
cosplay?
Yeah. Do they lean heavily on that in this year? Because if they're not going to E3, why would they go to PAX?
Yeah, that's my
question.
When I saw those announcements, I thought the exact same thing. I thought, well, if you're gonna have the big dogs not show up to the literally the biggest convention of the year, what does that look like going forward? I actually want to have a quick look. I think didn't a PAX just happened out in the States? I believe
PAX
it
East,
did.
yeah.
All right, I'm gonna have a quick look and see if any of the big AAAs showed up to PAX. There'll be an expo list.
Yeah, there should be
So
like an exhibitors list, and maybe
let
they
me
have like a small
expo hall. Here we go.
thing.
I'm having a look right now. While
Apparently,
we
it's
do
not
this.
like yeah. While you're doing that, apparently E3 is not cancelled, as in this year is just cancelled, but they're still looking to work on future events. So
Yeah, okay.
maybe they spin it a little bit differently. There is that whole talk about there was an issues there with there was the industry days, then there was the community days, and then there was like that mix between the two, and maybe
Yeah.
that was why people pulled out. Like, we don't really have an industry level expo where
No.
companies can talk to companies, or like services can be like given to or promoted to game developers, you know.
Yeah.
That would be really cool. We don't really have that in gaming. We have community, and that's it.
That's it. Yeah. I'm just looking, and yeah, Microsoft PlayStation did not show up at PAX East.
Yeah.
So it sounds like that's going to be the going forward.
If they're not turning up to the bigger PAXs, then why would they turn up to PAX Oz? Which, yeah,
exactly.
It's really going to mean that the ReedPop guys are going to have to really promote that.
I think, yeah,
the community levels, and oh man, my voice. God damn it.
They're really going to have to. They're really going to have to manage those expectations, I think, and I think they're doing a good job because they like so far. This is going to be the 10th PAX Oz, I believe.
Yeah,
I think they're really doing a good job so far in like really advertising it being all about like that community, that family, that sort of that get together in a way.
Yeah. And we treat it like that as well. And like
we do, yes.
We can walk up to Sony and PlayStation and Nintendo and go, hi, and they'll go, awesome. You know, sometimes you'll get some contacts out of it, sometimes you'll get some press contacts and things like that. But again, it's also you need to make sure that new games are there as well. And I would think that maybe the timing is just really good. Maybe just October is a really, really good time of the year to put those companies at those expos, because that way you get hype for the new game that's coming out. Usually you would have it announced at E3, and then for us anyway, then you would go to PAX and you'd play the games that you saw at E3.
You get to test it,
and then you buy it at Christmas, and like there's the hype that you're kind of progressing through there.
Exactly.
At least for Australian and New Zealand audio, oceanic audiences.
So will they do that? Like,
yeah,
you're right, and you are right. Like there is, like PAX East is happening sort of in this earlier part of the year, right? It's not a release hotspot, whereas we're lucky in the sense that we get PAX at the end of the year when it's when there are more games coming out, when it is a little bit hot and heavy on the more game front. So we may get the benefit of having those big companies come down with the intent of showing off their games and trying to build a bit more hype there.
Maybe.
But we all know that, if we're lucky, but we all know that really the hype, pre-order culture and the hype kind of already done before they even need to walk into a show floor. So
yeah, they can use social media and stuff nowadays.
Correct.
Like you've got your ANZ contacts, and it's a lot cheaper to just employ them and just get them to put out trailers and videos and tweets and memes and do integrations that way than it is to pack up everybody, fly them all down to a convention center, because some of them are in Sydney and they'll have to come down to Melbourne, set up a booth, get everything sorted.
Hire a booth constructor.
Hire all those stuff. And instead, they can just use the internet these days to just be like, okay, here's our, Nintendo Direct or Xbox, whatever, or EA Play or Ubisoft thing or whatever, and do their thing. And then everyone can just watch that on YouTube over and over and over again, and then base it off that. So it's kind of like Twitch, I guess, and these companies moving more to the business side of things. Like they're moving away from the community, and they're being businesses, and that sucks.
yeah, it does.
How dare they run a business like a business?
Can you stop?
Can you please make it about the people? Because people make money, like at the end of the day, but they found that they can do that by just making trailers and their own little thing anyway.
Well, again, I keep arguing that the only team that showed up for the development of Battlefield 2042 is the marketing team. So,
Yep. They got
and that
their
sold,
contracts page.
and guess what? That sold copies. So,
Yep. They also
yeah,
killed
like
the franchise for me, but anyway,
yeah. Well, look,
that's not the
still
marketing
hurt.
team's fault. They did their job
Yeah,
right.
they did their job. Yeah, they're the ones that did. Um, yeah, it goes to show that in the industry right now, we are seeing a very big push towards, I think, a path of least resistance in a way, because they
Yeah.
know people are going to buy it anyway. Um, which sucks. I hate it. I hate it. It sucks. Stop it.
Stop
But
it. Yeah.
I think in response though, it's going to create a significant amount of pressure on Breedpop to try and fill those spaces. I mean, they did an okay job last year. Um, it was a culture shock because COVID happened and we
Yeah.
hadn't seen a PAX for years. But they had the Aussie broadband arcade. They had their Read Pop free player with next gen consoles in it.
Yep.
So yeah, a whole bunch of cool stuff. I would very much hope to see Read Pop, and well, I'd very much like to see all these big companies come back and represent again.
Yeah.
Based on this news, I'm right there with you. I think there's a significant concern about that happening, because if they're not going to E3, why would they bother with us?
Yeah. But we got a smaller but a dedicated audience for sure.
We do.
In Australia and in the oceanic territories. But at the same time, it is the only thing we have going for us is it's the last expo, well, one of the last expos before Christmas. Like,
Yes.
and that's their big sales pitch. Like that's when it happens. So
Yeah.
do the I don't know, do the costs outweigh the revenue that they'll get at the end of the year?
Yeah, exactly. That's sort of the middle ground you got to navigate, isn't it? Like, is it financially viable, and are you going to see a return on investment? I mean, 80,000 people showed up to PAX last year, so
Yeah.
my simplistic business brain that is not very complex at all just goes, "Ha, money go brr."
Money go burr, yeah. But it's also the
But
lens, right? It's those companies. Is 80,000 people's eyes good? Like,
yeah. I mean, one trailer would get that
yeah, look at
times 100.
YouTube. Yeah, because you just have to release the trailer off into. I can just look at Xbox's YouTube channel. He's got 5 million subscribers.
There you go.
Yeah, Forza this week on Xbox, released a day ago. They got 63,000 views.
There you go.
They've got I mean, each of the different trailers that they get, they're just launch trailers for various different games, but 18K, 12K, 10K, 20K, 40K,
Plus, also considering the fact that you'll have people like IGN also release the trailer on their platform if they've got permission to do it. You'll have, or like you'll get the coverage then from people analyzing the trailer. Like it's that spider web effect. And when you think about the amount of endpoints the internet has versus the amount of endpoints that a physical convention like PAX has, it does limit. Like, you can tell that there is a financial limitation there on the return on investment, comparatively speaking.
Yeah.
And saying that, I know I'm not making my argument any stronger for them coming back, because I'm actually digging myself a further hole here, but it just makes sense.
It makes sense, and that's the thing. It's how dare the business run like a business? I know,
yeah,
and it's the same when Twitch does its things, and it's the same when YouTube does its things. It's how dare you run like a business? The problem is it just does hurt the community that you're either representing or the community that you are a part of. Will people move to other things though? That's the thing. What else have you got? They'll either show up or they'll show their trailers, and you'll either remember the game when you're buying it for your kid or buying it for yourself, or you won't, and you'll buy something else.
Yep, exactly. So, and again, that risk of the latter happening to you, it doesn't make up for the cost of getting all this shit down to Melbourne.
Yeah, exactly. Like maybe we're just jaded because we've gone to every PAX and we've seen Xbox or whatever turn up every single time. But I don't think like some people, yes, I understand. You don't get a chance to play these new video games that haven't been released yet, and you don't follow everything. So you spend your $100 and whatever and you go to PAX as your only chance to be able to play these video games before release. And you go and you love your Halo or whatever, and you go and you play it, and you're like, that was amazing. I love Xbox.
Sick.
I'm gonna buy every single fucking Halo game. Yes, woohoo, let's go. And you get that, but and that's really, really awesome. But again, that's not going to be a lot of the people that turn up. They'll go, huh, cool, yeah, that was nice. Also, I got to play some games, and then they walk off. Yeah, exactly
right. And you got to remember, packed sales don't automatically convert to sales for the game company that shell out to make packs happen. So God, no, we are sounding like jaded.
Yeah, we sound like jaded assholes that are like, yes, the business should be a business, and then
shaking fist at clouds. Yeah. Old men shake fist at clouds. Fantastic.
Old businessmen. Yeah.
Another title for the podcast right there.
Yeah, exactly. Old men shaking fists. Yes, at businesses. Yeah,
at business. Far out.
We got many titles. We got purple pilling the masses. We had old men shaking fists at businesses, and as we were talking pre-potty, we were talking about much like ogres, thumbnails have layers. Because we've got to talk about thumbnails and video titles and all of that fun stuff. I don't know how we're going to transition that one, but I think that might have just covered it. I don't know.
I think it might have just done it. Yeah. It's a pretty good transition.
It was pretty good. Yeah. So if it doesn't become the thumbnail of the potty, at least you knew what we were working with. So the bottom of the barrel is the bottom of the barrel here, ladies and gentlemen.
Literally scraping the rust out of the back. Like that's where we're at. Like it gives you an idea as to the creative nuance that comes from running a scuffed podcast like ours.
Remember to subscribe for more scuffed content.
Let's go. But yeah, thumbnails and video titles.
Quick transition over to that one, because we were chatting with a lot of we talk about a lot of content creation stuff off podcast and off Cami's live streams and in our own little places of doing things, but it's something that, especially when you're on YouTube, that it is basically the most important thing that people don't do right.
No. Pisses me off.
It pisses me off. Yeah. So I see it. If you're in our streaming community, Team CE, we have a whole channel there about doing channel reviews, which I'm slowly making my way through.
Thank you for that, by the way.
Yeah. So I thought, well, Cami's is gonna be able to take my abrasive and harsh views, and he won't take them to heart because he's better than me at doing this.
I must be honest, I am looking forward to seeing the reactions. If you do a similar style review for everyone, I really am curious to see what the reactions are to your feedback in some places.
That's why I did yours first as well. So I used you as the guinea pig, and then people were like, oh, I'm taking on that feedback and I'm using it on my channel. I was like, cool. I did good review, but then I go and look at theirs, and then it'll be oh no. There's people in there with like 200 followers on Twitch being like, can you review my channel? And I'm going to give them a 1,000-word essay on you know, you're only making Twitch content, you're only streaming 2 days a week, or 4 days a week. You say you're going to stream 4 days a week, but then you stream 2 of them, and I go back through your Twitter and you cancel half your streams. So why not just stream 2 days a week? Like, why, and I'm going to put that in, like, just stream to your to your abilities.
Harsh love is what it is.
Yeah, because I genuinely do want people to succeed. It's just if they do it right, that's the only thing. Don't fuck it up.
Don't. A great piece of life. I need that on shirt. Don't fuck it up.
Live your life, just don't fuck it up. Yeah.
There you go.
But yeah, one of the things that I touched on that, and that bounced off a similar topic that Cami helped me fix on my thumbnails. Because I was doing certain things, going, why aren't I doing this a different way? Because when people are looking at your content, if they're scrolling through YouTube, that's what they see. They see the title and they see the thumbnail. They do not care what's in the video.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
A lot of people will always say on YouTube, the first 5 to 10 seconds of a YouTube video is the most important part. I beg to differ. It's the thumbnail. It is 100% the thumbnail. I just saw that too. The thumbnail is literally, the handshake of a YouTube viewer's interaction with your channel. It is what gets them through the door. It is what entices them to click on the video. The title will certainly help, but the thumbnail is that visual eye candy that makes you go, "Oh, you,
Yeah.
you know, it looks like you're doing."
Yeah. It doesn't even need to be like super professional. It just needs to have that, like, when I look at a channel and I can look through all of their thumbnails, I know that that's a that person channel.
Yes,
And that's one of the things that
element.
you need to know, that you need to have your style. And that can, I mean, I don't mean like, 7 video Andy that's just like never really gotten into video editing, is just going into it blind. I mean, these people who have been uploading like 300 to 400 videos and has a different thumbnail style for each individual time on different topics. And you're like,
yeah, exactly.
how the hell will I know what your videos are?
Yeah, there's no brand, there's no identity, and that's the problem. Like, anyone who is successful on the platform, who has been around for a while, there'll be some consistencies in their thumbnail. There are exceptions to the rule.
Yes.
For example, the Markipliers, who will literally just put a screen grab from the game that they're playing, and that is it, because they can do that. People aren't for one, people have identified that style of thumbnail with the creator through constant exposure to that.
Yeah.
But they are also at such a degree of level that just seeing their name alone in the little box is enough to get people to click.
Yep.
As a new channel, and as someone who is newer, and even like someone like myself who has a following, but not not in the top 1% by any stretch of the imagination. You need to have that identity and recognizable nature to your thumbnails. Otherwise, your regular viewers just aren't going to know it's you. They're not going to click on your stuff. You got to remember this: that you're not the only person they're subscribed to. Their subscription feed will be getting bombarded daily.
Yeah.
So if you're not standing out in a way where someone can look at a thumbnail from you and go, "Ah, yes, that's Cami's, or that's Kochie's, or that's user XYZ's video,"
Yep.
then you're doing it wrong.
Pretty much. And it also is backed on your content as well. If you have your face in your video a lot, and that you are the video like content that you're providing, then your face better be in that thumbnail. And it should be the big thing that is like front and center in there, that is about that, because this video is about you. It is a terrible way of there are the caveats to that, obviously, but if you're the content of the video, then I feel like you should be the video, part of the video thumbnail. And that can be better or for worse based on factors of physicality, let's say.
There you go. Okay. I was wondering where you're going with that. Yep.
But that isn't really a big thing, because it really depends. Like, it depends what type of content you're watching, really.
Yeah, see, as I'm in two minds about the whole face in thumbnails thing. I really am. Because as a newer viewer or as a new channel, if your face is the identity of your videos solely, no one's going to give a shit.
Yeah.
No
one
one
is
going to
split, like I see it
No
plenty
one's
of the
gonna give a
Mr. Beast, does it.
Like,
you'll have to see his reaction. He's got like, his editors have like 70 different versions of his face. That is,
there you go. Yeah.
But it's his face doing a thing,
Yeah. But is he an established creator?
Yeah.
There you go. Like, so the point being, my point being there, putting your, as I said, hang on, the golden rule of any thumbnail to me is it needs to explain who the video is from and what the video is about before someone looks at the title, the author, or the description. It needs to do all those things. Like, your thumbnail is 100% your ticket to that viewer first time off, and your title will support your thumbnail. But that's how I've always viewed it. The title supports the thumbnail, not the other way around.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. But the issue you have with that is if you've then got your face doing some random quirky expression taking up 2/3 of the screen, and then you've got supporting text on there and stuff like that, as someone who has never seen your content before, or you're not a household brand name that has a face attached to that brand already, I'm not going to click on your video. I don't give a fuck. I
guess the other thing too there is, like, you could do your avatar, or like you could do your, like, a bust of your person or something like that, pointing at something. Because a lot of people do that. The animation side of things as well does that as well.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
It does create that personability. I don't know if that's the right word, but like that
it does.
it does help a
It
little
does.
bit.
It does indeed, but you need to be very much established in the personability to get that across the line, I think. Because
Mm,
people aren't going to search for you. They're going to search for the subject matter that you're covering unless you are, a big Twitch streamer that's got like this following that know your brand by you personally. At least that's my view. Like I'll do videos like where I'll do Q&A sessions and it's got my face on it and stuff like that.
mm.
Like you'll get the bump from subscribers originally, but it's like a 10%, if that, of new viewers watching that video because the click-through rate's so terrible. No one cares to watch it.
Yeah.
It hasn't got a subject matter that relates to people outside of my already community, right?
Yeah, and I guess that does come back to like different content for different viewers. Like even just this
Correct.
podcast, like no one's going to be looking up for this podcast necessarily. I would see this more as a subscriber level
Agreed.
piece of content. But the problem is I'm not making enough of real content to make this as a subscriber content. So what's the fucking point? But the
vicious
thumbnails,
cycle, yeah.
but even that, right? The thumbnails, because I was doing research on just podcasts, like
Yep.
to try and find new podcasts, what people did, and like our just very generic thumbnail, redundant opinions in the episode and our logo is very rare to see. There's a lot of people who we've got our faces on this, and a better way to do it, just for this example, is to put like one of the moments where I was animated or something, and animated where you're animated and quite like whatever it is, and that is the thumbnail of like you and I going at each other, and then it's like episode 12 or whatever. Episode 9, and that's it. Because redundant opinions can just be in the title, like
correct.
It's just a part of it. So it's a very personable show because we're talking and we've got our faces on there as the main thing of the screen that's on the screen. Unless you're on Spotify, thank you for listening.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you. But yeah, so it's all. You need to make it based on the content that you create, but also what other people are kind of doing in those spaces.
Yeah, so if you are going to have thumbnails and videos that are all about you, you're going to need that should be the supporting content. Like it should not be the main content of your channel. But we're getting into a different realm here of content strategy. Looping it back to thumbnails more specifically, you need to have a lot of things ticking the boxes right, like in the thumbnail world. Like, are you putting your elements in an area where there's going to be like the timestamp for YouTube over your thumbnail? Are you putting it in the bottom right corner where that time?
Oh yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Oh my god!
Like,
if you have your thumbnail and then your logo is in the bottom right hand corner of your thumbnail, you're an idiot. All right.
Yeah, because YouTube covers it up with the length of the video. Yeah, exactly. So, are you putting your elements in the right place? Like it even comes down to like, and this is going to sound wanky as hell, but are you considering the rule of thirds?
Yes.
Like which is a very real creative application that can exist for thumbnail.
Mm-hmm.
Are you making them colorful? Are you sticking to a style? Have you got your branding in there? Like, there's
using the same, something as simple as using the same text layer style on a video series or whatever it is will help people find those videos later on. You can use Times New Roman if you want, but you read something that's legible, that's blocky, and has some kind of drop shadow on it, and it will be fine. Just have it the same every single time. Something as small as that can help out.
Discovery by association. It's what it needs. Discovery by association. Like people will start to associate your content with a certain style of thumbnail.
Yeah.
And if you adhere to that, people will recognize you more frequently. You get a higher click-through rate, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Thumbnail can be it's if it's going to be really personal and really all about you, then I think you need to be in the video. In the thumbnail. But if it's more generic, like a review video, for me anyway, or a review and whatever I was looking at, it needs to be like a screenshot of the main character or something that's like really zoomed in and like you can see it as part of that feel. Like Kratos, God of War. I remember Cami and I were talking about it, and we were going and all the thumbnails for the God of War 4, God of War Ragnarok review was all like really close-ups of Kratos or Kratos doing something, he was jumping or like holding an axe, and it was really, really close up, and it was the forefront, and then it would just be like God of War review, like over in the little corner, because you don't need to know that it's the God of War Ragnarok review because you've already searched for that, and that's what you're looking for. You just want the big beefy Kratos to be in front, being like, yeah, you know,
Yeah, hit shit. Do what Kratos does.
yeah,
yeah.
Big man with stick, go bonk. Yeah, or axe, I guess. But yes,
big man, big stick, big bonk. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
and it's exactly. So like at that point, what they're doing is they're using visual cues to play on people's eye candy. Be like, oh, this is something that I associate with, or something that I recognize.
Yeah,
and that's another big step to thumbnail work as well, is making sure that you're not uh this is a real bugbear of mine. Overuse of text in thumbnails, and also putting the video title word for word into your thumbnail.
I gave you so much shit about that.
You gave me so much shit about it?
I gave you shit about that, yeah, in the review.
I know, I'm bad at it. I know, and I should be listening to my own advice here, but I know I fall by the wayside too.
Yeah.
But even like I'll see thumbnails that literally go word for word down the goddamn side of it, just being like, what a 50 character title. They'll have all 50 characters in the thumbnail. It's like, you don't need that.
Why would you need it twice? Why do I need to read it twice? Exactly.
No. You use your, like, the idea of the thumbnail is to attach the title to some sort of visual cue.
Yep.
Right? It's to take a keyword or two from your title. Big old keyword, the most poignant word, maybe two of them, depending on what you're doing, and then jamming it in there. Or having your thumbnail be a continuation of, or a prerequisite to your title itself. Like, use it as
I mean, your latest one is probably a good example where the text is actually completely different to the video's title.
Siri arced up. My apologies.
Yeah, like your title on one of your latest videos is completely different to the text in the thumbnail.
Yes.
It's there to complement each other, not to do word for word reading the same thing over and over again.
Correct.
To the point where it may not even need text in there if it's not necessary.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like a single word.
It's very rare that I've ever used no text in a thumbnail. In fact, I don't think I've ever done it. I do use text quite fruitfully.
Here's me going to deep dive into your channel to find something from 7 years ago.
Yeah. God damn, man. But like, it comes down to like just using these keywords that people will be looking for. So, there was an example where I did like, a video, and you actually called out this video in particular. It was my AC9, RPT31, and RM68 best setups of Battlefield 2042.
Yeah.
Very wordy title. If it was up to me, I'd probably change it. In fact, I probably could still if I felt like doing it.
Exactly. If it's going to affect things.
Exactly. But what I did is I took the best setups word and just threw that in the thumbnail, and then used the two weapons of the main weapons and threw them in the thumbnail as visual cues to say, this is what this video is talking to. This is, this is the relationship here. And again, you don't need to outline these words, because this community that I'm tapping into here knows what these weapons are. They know what they look like. There's that sense of connection that can be drawn between visual cue and word cue, which helps to strengthen the overall click-through rate of your thumbnail, of your video. My apologies.
Yeah, of the video, because they're the most important things. The thing is it's more for yours. Sometimes you are designing those thumbnails for your existing community, and sometimes you're designing them because you want everyone else to click on them. So things like that latest, one of your latest videos, like the King, the God Guns of Battlefield. Like, that means that's not for your subscribers. That's for everyone. Like,
that is
everyone who wants to find good guns for Battlefield 2042, because if it's starting to get good a year and a half after that, they want to see those guns, right? So those have been designed in that way. So you really need to think, if I'm searching, it's that reverse thing. It's same with tags and stuff. It's that reverse brain thinking of, I need to think about what I'm looking for in a video, and like just go through a week of searches that you do on YouTube. And is it one person's video specifically that you're looking for? Maybe you're looking for a particular topic, and what stands out to you, and then try to incorporate those into your own thumbnails.
100%.
And then use programs like Photopea. You don't have to have Adobe Suite. You can use Photopea. You can I can use Paint, really. I mean, there's paint.net, you know, anything with layers as well, just to create that kind of sense of depth in your thumbnails as well, I think is a big
Super
thing.
important. Super important. Like the sense of depth is something that I've definitely been playing into over the last year and a bit now. And I've seen more content creators start to abuse it as well. Like I say abuse it, start to utilize it as well.
Yeah.
It does, it just gives the thumbnail more. Actually, what it does is that it helps to create, yes, you've got your key text in there, but what it also does is it creates a subject. Like it creates a character of the thumbnail to sort of look at, and it pops out and it goes, oh, like there's a key image there that you can sort of use to try and catch somebody in and sort of go from there. Like there's and it's something that you can also do in this process as well, is just have a look at your competition in the thumbnail space and see what everyone else is doing. You know, take note of what videos are showing up highly in your search and what the thumbnails are doing and how you can relate that back to your own brand. I think is a very important step, that market research.
Yeah, you've got to do it. You've got to look at what other people are doing and see if that is something that you can do and incorporate into your own designs.
Exactly.
Yeah, because we'll make changes all the time. But and you can always do that. I think for something like YouTube, you can change the title and the thumbnails of YouTube videos after it's been done. There are people who do that 4 times in the first 24 hours of a video to see if there's any big spike. Obviously, they've got a larger viewer base that they can use like real-time data. But they'll mess with 4 different thumbnails and 4 different titles to see what gets the most engagement. And I feel like you could probably do that with other smaller channels, but you'd want to do it over different weeks instead of days, I would say.
100%. And it's just a matter of, you know, as you say, just taking note of what isn't, what is working, and being sort of self-critical in a way to try and, you know,
it does bring it back to that self-aware thing, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's self-awareness and just trying to make a measurable impact as a result. Like I remember when we were talking thumbnails recently, and you know, I helped you out with yours a little bit in suggesting some ideas, and we kind of gave some of your thumbnails a bit of a facelift. And it, you know, adding that depth, adding that sort of, you know, that pop, that subject matter, and keeping it brand friendly. And I think we landed on something pretty good, but it's again just a matter of taking a look from time to time and going, well, can this be improved? Would I click on this video? That's always a big key question to ask.
Yeah.
Try and remove yourself from the equation. That of course it's my video. Of course I click on it. No.
I make the best content ever, Cami. Have you not seen Redundant Opinions?
I am the best content in the world. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, like it's just,
and even I'm looking at them now, and I'm like, actually, I could definitely change the way that text is laid out so that it works a little bit better with, you know, different stuff and whatnot. You know,
there you go. It's just a matter of like, you know, again, taking that opportunity to be a bit critical of your own content, especially your thumbnails, and working out, you know, where the room for improvement is. And if you get it right, boy, do you get it right. Like,
and just make it short. I know it's difficult, but if depending on your styles, and I'm gonna go through and change this a little bit as well, because I don't need to put in the fact that this is a game review for this particular game, and this is my thoughts on it in the title of a video. They know it's a video for a review of that video game because that's what they fucking searched for.
Yes.
Like, you know, or that's what's in their recommended feed because that's what's been popping up for them.
And exactly. And your thumbnails in particular have review in the fucking thumbnail.
In the thumbnail, and it's my logo and it says review, which is a lot better than what it was before. But before it was all over the place. But they already know it's a review, and if they notice my logo, then they'll know it's about me. But like, it doesn't also need to be in that, or it can be a difference of that if you want to create like a theme or a playlist of things. So I could put like Kochiefy reviews or something like that at the end, and then it could just be the rest of it could be the main portion of the title. You can put that stuff at the end, I think, because usually with the limit of the name of the thumbnails, it's probably you have a bit of wiggle room there. Sorry, not thumbnails. The titles. You have a bit of wiggle room there, but a lot of big streamers and a lot of big content creators, short and sweet, and it's like, you know, this game is insane or whatever, and that's the entire title. Not as in this game means Battlefield 2042. No, it'll just say this game is insane. With a picture of a gun in the game and a point thing, and then that's it. You're enticed to click on it because you don't know what game they're talking about.
Exactly, and it is. it is very clickbait. And I know there's a lot of
Yes.
content creators out there that try to take the moral high ground and not being clickbait.
Mm.
I used to. Now I'm an asshole,
Yeah.
and will clickbait the hell out of everything I can because
Yes.
that's the. But clickbait.
There's a
It's
difference
funny.
there. Yes.
Exactly. It's funny because someone actually in my latest BattleBit video came up and arced up and said, "This could have been an amazing video, but I'm not going to watch it due to the clickbait title." And I'm
Mm.
like, "Well, you didn't watch the fucking video. What do you mean?
Yeah.
You can't tell me it's clickbait by not watching the video." And that's the thing. Like there's bad clickbait where you put a hot woman on on a
On
thumbnail in a
sexual,
bikini. Yeah, gone sex. Yeah,
Yeah.
like you can there's clickbait which is lying to your viewers or
Yes.
lying to the potential viewer that this is going to happen when it's like in one frame of the video in the background of a shot, or you've got the clickbait that sets a question and then encourages people to click on that to seek out the answer, which is then sought out in the video. I think that's
Yes.
sort of the healthy clickbait when you use your thumbnail and your titling to sort of go, oh, what's the answer to this question? And then if you answer it, well done, you made a good video.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Like your content is there almost again to support the thumbnail, which is also supported by the title. And the hope is that you can get those content out to your viewers or to the audiences of YouTube. And because that's the thing, is like thumbnail is super important. And then the video hours and the retention time is the second most important. It's like click-through rate and then retention rate. Like they're the two things that you're looking at when it comes to your video. Because if someone watches your video and it's nothing about your thumbnail and your title, then they're not going to watch much more of that video.
They'll click off straight away. Exactly.
And it's like, yeah, you got some views, but then you look in the deeper stats, which you're probably looking at anyway, and your viewer hours are super low because everyone drops off after 12 seconds.
Yeah, your audience retention will be like 2019, like 20 to 10%, which is terrible. Like if you're not hitting at least 33.3%, you're not doing very well in the grand scheme of content retention.
Yeah.
So and I hear a lot of creators always go like, oh yeah, 5 to 10 second intro, you need to make this the most important part, make it catchy, make it. Yeah, I agree with that. But at the same time, if your viewers aren't clicking through to that to the video in the first place, no one's watching the amazing intro you've done in the video.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to build up the great hook, the great start that gets like the video from a engagement perspective starts before the viewer clicks play.
Yeah.
Starts before play.
And it's kind of like goes back to what we were talking about with the being a business, right? Yeah, with the business being a business, you're not trying to get you're not trying to entertain your subscribers. Your subscribers are great. We love our subscribers. They were going to watch our content until they don't. The whole point of being a YouTuber, if you're trying to grow as a content creator, is your subscribers are already there. You're trying to get everybody else to watch your videos.
You're trying to convert.
These are the people that you need to try and convert to watch the Kochiefy and watch the Kamikaze videos and watch the X streamer XX Sephiroth XX videos.
Yeah.
Is you need to entice them to watch your videos. Because you've already got your subscribers. They're already there. We already got them by the balls,
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Like, got them, we know. And we appreciate them, and that's really, really awesome.
Yeah.
But there is always when you're advertising those pieces of new content that you're promoting, you want random people on the internet to click on them. And there needs to be a reason to do that.
Exactly. And a thumbnail. It's like a thumbnail. Like it's a bit different if you're like in my situation, you're sort of branching out and doing new stuff, trying out new niches and stuff like that. But your branding has already convinced some people to stick around, and they will continue to do so if that content still relates to their interests.
Yeah.
But if you are somebody who is brand spanking new to this space and is like trying to, or even a growing, developing creator, again, you've done the seed work, you've developed the brand that people are willing to click on. Now it's a matter of getting that out to more people, and your thumbnail is the most important part of welcoming people through that door.
Because if they're going to upload a Banjo-Kazooie Let's Play, why are they watching your video and your thumbnail versus everybody else that has already played Banjo-Kazooie?
Correct. And I'll tell you what,
an example,
On that note, because we had a talk about this a few weeks ago about what is content, why would someone watch a Let's Play that you're doing when someone else has already done it, right?
Yeah.
Let's just think about it this way for a minute here, right? Say Last of Us 3 comes out, right?
Yeah.
Last of Us 3 has come out because Sony knows how to count 3.
Unlike Valve, yeah.
Yeah, unlike Valve. So yeah, Last of Us 3 comes out. Every YouTuber and their dog are going to start doing a Let's Play thing for this, right?
Yep.
But someone will type in, Last of Us Let's Play. It's likely there's going to be a lot of high-rated channels getting the first clicks, right? But let's just say someone decides to scroll for a little bit and they start seeing all
We'll
the
do
other
doom
channels.
scrolling eventually.
We all do it. We all do it from time to time. We
do
all
it on
like
Twitch,
and,
yeah.
and people like to search validation for their opinions, and they'll do that by seeking out as many channels as they can from time to time. But they scroll down and then they get to say the mid-tier creators that aren't getting as enough, or say the YouTube algorithm, for whatever blessing it decides to throw, puts you on top for a day. It puts you on the top of that list for that search. You're beating out, the Markiplies, the PewDiePies of this Let's Play. You're on top. Your thumbnail immediately is now the point in time in which someone will decide, I'm going to try something new or go to what I know all the time.
Yep.
So in the Let's Play space, if you're, creative enough and, entertaining enough to match the performance of the Markiplies and the PewDiePies in your video, but your thumbnail beats them out in click-through rate, you've won. You have won 100%. You've potentially converted a new viewer. So that is alone a very critical piece of the puzzle that I think, again, a lot of people miss out on, because the thumbnail is actually an opportunity on its own to potentially break into a new space that you once wouldn't have been able to before.
Yep, it happens the same for review videos. Obviously, just to relate it back to whatever for my own knowledge as well, is that IGN and all those GameSpot and all these games reviewers, Skill Up and ACG and all these brand new people, the people that are massive in doing their stuff of weekly game reviews. If I release on embargo, if I'm able to get code early and release at that same time where everyone is looking for review videos, if my screenshot is better, if my thumbnail and my title are better, because I've thought of something more creative, then they may watch mine. Or the best part is they may watch the bigger channels and then be recommended in autoplay to watch someone else's videos as well.
Exactly.
So again, they'll sit there and go, oh, I'll add that to my queue because that was looks like a positive review. That one looks like a negative review. Oh, that one can fuck off. I can look at all the different ones, right?
And that's it. That's exactly right. And so, it's just a matter.
It's the branding. It is the face of your content. You could have the best video ever created, but if your thumbnail and title are shit, no one's watching it. Your click-through rate is going to be absolute garbage.
Exactly right. And there'll be times where I spend more time working on the thumbnail for a video than I will do working on the actual video itself.
Wow,
I've caught myself doing that a few times. I mean, the thumbnail I asked you for help with, that fucking took me hours.
Yeah.
Because I had 3 different renditions, all of which had slightly different intricacies attached to them. So not only did I have to make the first one, which involved me cutting out the assets and, getting the effects and all that stuff, which Kochie knows all too well about, and layering it, fucking layers.
Layers.
Layers, boy.
Thumbnails have layers.
They do. And then I decided to create 3 different renditions of it with different titles in mind, because I wasn't sure which one would perform best, or which angle to take it in, despite the video already being written up. Bad move. But it's like there'll be times when, again, I spend more times working on that thumbnail than I do on the actual video itself, knowing full well that that video could very well be an opportunity to introduce a whole bunch of new subscribers to my channel. And it worked. That video in question has now seen a 52. Actually, I think the latest stats are 52 new subscribers on that video alone.
Do you have the CTR rate for that?
Have a look. Let me. So this was interesting. This was a very interesting
you've got
stat.
The bar.
Yes. So here we go. Engagement here somewhere. Yeah. So
we love our YouTube analytics. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. So it was funny, right? So day 1 of this video coming out, 5% click-through rate, which is actually not too bad.
Not too bad.
I think the average is around about anywhere between 2 to 6%, right? Then we get to day 2, and this is when I had the big spike, because the algorithm went, "Ooh, actually, hang on, this one's actually doing okay." It spiked to 11.7% click-through rate. Every 1 in 10
1 in 10 people who searched Battlefield 2042 or searched those terms that you had in your video looked at that and clicked on that video, which is nuts.
Exactly.
Like, to think about that 1 in 10 people who are looking at your video.
The video got 60,000 impressions. It had a 1 in 10 ratio of getting people through, and then it's sort of flatlined out. But in general, the overall click-through rate for that video, encompassing the first day of lacking performance and to where it is now, 9.9%.
Yeah. So
And
again, one in 10 people who have seen the thumbnail and the title have clicked through on that video.
And in the world of averages, where you've literally got, you know, a day hinged by 5%, double that average.
Yeah.
In the follow-up days, it's a sign that the thumbnail's doing its job.
Yeah.
And I
when
guarantee
people will do that, they'll mix and match thumbnails and change it over time, because the people who have already seen the video, they know that, again, when you're looking at changing your thumbnails and your titles, you're not changing them for your subscribers. If the subscribers see that thumbnail or that title pop up, they may watch it again, but they'll know that you've just released a video and it's probably the same video that they're just watching again.
Correct.
You're trying to appeal to different audiences by changing those.
Yeah, and sometimes it happens. It sometimes all it takes. And again, if you see that your video is getting a lot of impressions but isn't getting the click-through rate, it's genuine. It's generally going to be a problem with your thumbnail and title combination. People are looking in the catalog of videos that have been fed by the algorithm, and they've gone, none of this is interesting to me.
Yep, exactly. And we see that time and time again, like, again, looking through all these channels. And again, this comes from smaller creators as well, who don't really know what they're doing, or they're still finding their feet with their own style, which is understandable. And this isn't, again, this isn't talking about the super big guys, because they've already got a big enough brand. They can put out at the same screenshot in every different video, and
they can do whatever the fuck they want.
They can do whatever they want. But they'll probably still look at their numbers, and they'll see their CTR, their click-through rate go through 100%. and up and down, and they will change. As I said, Mr. Beast, I think he mentioned that he has 4 or 5 different screenshots for thumbnails that are made for each different video that he makes to change them around within the first 2 hours or something like that. I can't remember what it was. But people do it from time to time.
If I was doing this full time, I would be making three thumbnails per video. I would have a catalog ready to go for every video I did.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing this full time, so
no, we don't have time to do that. But if you do, then that's what you need to do. At least have some ideas about what you can mix and match. Even if you're not changing the thumbnails, have different titles. Titles are easy. Right. Times are difficult, but they're easy because you don't have to edit them. You just text.
Type. Yeah. Exactly. Again, it's all about setting up that sort of invitation for a question being answered, or a statement of fact that's so out of this mind blowing. Again, kind of clickbaity, but
there's a really good video by Veritasium, which I've probably mentioned on the podcast before, about the click-through rate. It says clickbait is unreasonably effective. It shows proof of like the different ways that a video can work, but there's this like clickbait, which is bad, and then the 10 reasons why this thumbnail will go to the moon or whatever. And then there's a little subset within this like little diagram that he does, which is called click truth, and it's like, it's a really effective thumbnail and title, but then the information that's in it is also related to that thumbnail and the title.
There you go. There you go.
It matches up. It's just
and I think that's the key part. Make your thumbnail clickbaity as possible, but make it have some degree of semblance to what the content is actually about.
To do that, lie to viewers.
If you do that, people won't care. I mean, you'll have the odd dickhead who's like, "Oh, my 9 minutes was too important for this video that I wasn't going to watch anyway. Go fuck yourself."
Yeah, you still giving me if they're commenting, they've already given you the engagement that you wanted anyway. That is it. I don't care how much of the video you watched. You commented on my video, increasing its search ranking,
and they clicked through as well. So
and they clicked onto the video anyway. So the best way to screw over a creator is to not interact with them. Don't see Cami's video and you go, no. Everyone like keeps disliking my videos at times, and they're like, "Oh, it'll time to cancel Cami. Let's go." It's not how it works, Big Rig. It's not how it works. No, and I dislikes are removed anyway. So no, I still see them. Yeah,
we all. It hurts my feelings. Please don't dislike. But anyway, get your thumbnails sorted, guys.
Yes.
Do better. No, I'm kidding.
Do better.
Do better. No,
if you can't change your thumbnails, then just change your titles. Like, to update your titles to be more appealing. And if you have time, because again, we're not doing this full time. If you have time, update them to match what you're doing that way.
I've been very interested in the past about doing like some thumbnail talks and doing some thumbnail just sessions of coaching, I guess. I'm not the be-all end-all authority on this front, but I feel like I've got some knowledge that I could be able to expend at some point. People who need it. So yeah, that's something I've been thinking
Yeah.
about doing in the near future.
There's two rules of thought behind it as well. It's like, we can give this kind of abstracty discussion about things you should do, and then the other school of thought is this is how you make a thumbnail, like step by step. Go into Photoshop.
Actually,
there's resources out there already, so you can use, like, people have things like Behance. You have Canva. If you've used Canva to make a resume, you can make a YouTube thumbnail there too. Same with a media kit. You can use all of those things, and it works perfectly fine. You can use Photoshop if you want. You can use different other tools. I think they're the only two I really look through. And then once you have a thumbnail and you're like, oh, I don't know if that'll look any good. There's a really good website that you can upload that thing called thumbsup.tv. Again, link in the doobly-doo. It's just a website where you can just upload your JPEG, which you should use a JPEG for thumbnails. And you can see how the thing will look as you go through. Like, you scroll through and it'll be like desktop large, desktop small, mobile view, recommended video, and this will show how your screenshot will look. So to use those resources effectively for those as well.
Goes a long way. It's a resource I've been using lately as well, just to get an idea of, because normally when we're editing these thumbnails, we're doing it in a full-size screen on a 27-inch monitor.
Yeah, 1440p, we're able to zoom in and zoom out,
And then you can zoom out, obviously, in the app, but when you do that, it's like, well, again, you don't know the exact size of how it's going to translate to a phone, to a tablet. Having that there to show you, like, how clear it is, regardless of platform, is a really, really valuable insight to have.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. For sure.
So thumbnails, do better.
Do better. Thumbs up. Thumbs up for thumbnails.
Thumbs up for thumbnails. Subscribe for more thumbnail talk. You've been listening to the Thumbnail Cast with Thumbify and Thumbakazi78.
To be real, that sounds like a red light district version of himself.
Thumbify, yeah.
Oh god.
I just want a thumbnail for just us. The thumb people from Spy Kids? I want that just be like our heads are just replaced with thumbs.
I like this. Yeah, I think we can definitely get someone to commission that for us, I reckon.
We need it.
Oh god. Man. Well, cursed images.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for the potty. So if there's anything, any ideas or comments, or we want to have more discussions about this, let us know. Chuck it down in the doobly-doo about what you do with your thumbnails, or if you want more discussion on them, I guess, or thumbnails or titles.
Let us know if you want us to review any of them for you. We'll have a look when we can.
Exactly. Take a look at the channel, but just do some self-reflection on, look at your thumbnails and look at do the general, like, squint view, and to see, what really attracts you to your thumbnail or titles and things like that as well.
Yeah, exactly right. Yep, 100%.
No, it's always a good chat. It's something that I think you and I can probably talk about for hours, and then go into really different topics as well.
We have done at multiple gaming conventions, completely blasted, my friend. We 100%. Most certainly have, and we'll do it again.
And we'll do it again when we go to DreamHack in like 4 weeks or something like that.
Yeah, true. More conventions coming up, so we're excited about that.
Where can they find you, Cami? What do you got coming up?
So currently, you'll find me as always on YouTube, Twitter.
Not Twitch,
and yeah. I still have an account there, so doing my
never know.
But yeah, no, YouTube and Twitter, Kamikaze78, TikTok as well. More general videos in the way. I do have. I'm going to start doing BattleBit weapon reviews in their entirety shortly. So need to work on the graphics for that, which is always a bit of a hassle. And a new series for BattleBit coming real soon as well, which I'm looking forward to. But beyond that, more PlanetSide and Battlefield stuff on the way as well. Kochie and I have completely given up on that franchise, but here I am still making content for it. So
one of us has actually given up, and one of them is a weak ass bitch. So some people get views though, and I don't. So
look, this is a cry for help. Okay, I'm blinking twice to try and avoid the EA assassin. Okay,
yes, of course.
Yeah. What about you, Kochie? What's going on?
Yeah, everyone knows. Of course, you can find me at Kochiefy on everything. Kochiefy. Nailed it. I'm going to get on content soon that isn't this podcast, which I need to do more often. I've got my Scars Above video that I need to get out. I need to review TGX as well, the game expo that we did. So if you want to hear us talk about that, go to the last podcast. Remember to subscribe for more of this and hopefully other content when I get around to it. Yeah, because we don't do this full time, so I'm gonna keep earning money and doing this on the side. So
yeah, that balance of work life is always a bit of a bitch.
Always a fun one. But if you find us coming back on the regular, consider subscribing, like the podcast if you liked it, go follow us on Spotify, all that fun stuff. And we'll see you in 2 weeks or so.
2 weeks or so, yep.
All right, take it easy.
Take care,
Peace.
guys. Creators.
We are influencers.
Fucking asshole. He almost just cleaned my desk for me, god damn it.
Couldn't help it.